Hello guys, it is Rachel here back again with another amazing video from Makers Gonna Learn, your ultimate die cutting community. If you do not know who we are or what we do, click the very first link in the description below to see how you can become a member of Makers Gonna Learn and receive access to over 4,000 digital cut files, 400 fonts, a members only Facebook group, printable guides, free e-courses, a commercial license, and so much more. It is super fun over there. But today guys, we are going to be answering 20 of the most asked Cricut questions, okay? This is going to be a super fun video. We're going to be all over the place. I personally answer, I would say about 90% of the YouTube questions in the comment section that you all ask. I love going in there and you guys kind of challenge me every now and again and rack my brain about, well, that is a good question. That's a great question too. And you guys have asked these questions that we are going to be covering today over and over and over. So when you guys ask these questions so often, I thought, let's go ahead and make a video about answering all these questions. So these are the questions that we get asked constantly from you guys, and we're going to address them all today. Now we're going to be a little bit all over the place, so definitely bear with us, and don't forget, if you guys are confused about anything or you feel that I've been unclear about something, leave us a comment in the comment section below and I'm happy to get back to you guys. I'm really excited to jump into these, so let's go ahead. The first question that we get all the time is about reverse weeding. If you do not know what reverse weeding is, it's a really fun weeding technique that you guys can use with adhesive vinyl in order to weed really intricate, small, cursive-y cuts a lot easier. So I will link the video in the description below on how to reverse weed if you guys would like to know how to do that and learn how. But the question that we get about it all the time is, well, thanks, I love being able to reverse weed vinyl. Can I reverse weed HTV? So this is a really good question, and once you get the answer, you might feel a little silly, but please don't feel silly because it is still a great question. You are already reverse weeding HTV, actually. That is how you are weeding it. If you go through the process of reverse weeding vinyl, which in a nutshell, it's when you cut your vinyl out with your machine, but instead of weeding it and then applying your transfer tape, you will go ahead and apply your transfer tape before you weed it. And then you will flip it over to where the backing is facing up and the transfer tape is facing down on your work surface. You will remove the backing of the entire vinyl decal, and then you will weed reverse. And for some reason, it's so easy for those little intricate cuts with cursive or anything like that. And we absolutely love reverse weeding regular vinyl, but you're already reverse weeding HTV. And let me explain that a little bit. So adhesive vinyl is different than heat transfer vinyl, because heat transfer vinyl, whenever you do cut it, you have to make sure it is shiny side down and that you mirror your material. The reason why is because the shiny side is the transfer sheet, and that comes with your HTV. So as you place that shiny side down on the mat or transfer sheet side down and you mirror it, you are, after it's cut, you take it out and you are reverse weeding it already. That is the only way to weed heat transfer vinyl. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that makes you guys feel better about that question. We got that question so many times. I'm not even kidding, guys, so many times. Now on to the second question we get asked most, which is, why do you waste so much vinyl in your videos? Now this is a funny question, because I think people might think when we're live and we're just kind of messing around, we don't save as much vinyl as we should, or maybe we're busy or it doesn't look like we're saving a lot. But there's only two reasons why we would never save vinyl. Number one is if we are in a video and we're trying to teach you guys an actual technique, then sometimes it's not worth stopping and saying, okay, now get you this and cut this off and make sure sometimes it's just not worth the extra struggle. We want it to be concise for you guys, so we might not save as much vinyl in order to keep our teaching super concise and simple for you guys, because we don't want to confuse any new members or any new viewers or anything like that are trying to learn something about their Cricut or a technique that they can use. We just want to keep it simple. And the second reason why we would ever not waste vinyl is intentional, 100%, and it is so that you can place things so much easier. For example, we're going to be using this canvas right here. As you can see, we have the paintbrush, we have the blue layer and the pink layer. So in Design Space, when you're creating this, you can say, okay, I'm going to cut all the pink out, all the blue out, all the wood look out. Fine. So you can do that in Design Space, have them cut and use this much vinyl, and then that way you have to place all those separately. Or if you wanted to save time, save heartache from lining them all up and look more professional once it's done, then you guys can actually attach them together in Design Space where they're supposed to be. So for that, what we would recommend in Design Space is uploading a square the same size as your canvas here, and then placing your paintbrushes, all the colors and everything right where you want them, and then color by color attaching those layers together. What that would mean is that instead of cutting out all of your blues up in the corner of the mat, the Cricut would automatically cut them here, here, and here at the exact width apart that they need to be for you to place them on your canvas there. So that might be a total waste of vinyl. You might say, that shame on you for doing that. We would never do that. That's fine. It's to each their own. All I'm doing here is answering the questions you guys asked, and that was one of them, is why would we waste that amount of vinyl? And really, it does look more professional once it's done, because it is hard to make things super centered. And if you're centering something one time versus 3 times per layer, trust me, it's worth it. So think about that next time that you might think that we are wasting vinyl, or maybe you have a tricky project like that. It's a lot easier to do, we promise. So that was the second most asked question that we get. These are in no particular order, by the way, like the most asked to the least most asked, if that makes sense. They're just kind of all jumbled up, but we do get all of these questions a lot. Number 3 is, can I put mugs with vinyl on them in the dishwasher? And I assume all of the questions are as is. So this right here is a mug without, let's just say it's without sealer on it. We actually have already sealed this one because we know what we're doing. But let's just say, for instance, this is just vinyl on a mug. If you put this in the dishwasher, the heat and the water and the pressure of all of that water and the soap and everything is gonna peel this up and or get it all slimy to where that adhesive is just kind of falling off, and that would not be good. So the answer is no. You cannot put regular vinyl that's slapped on a mug in the dishwasher. However, if you would like to use a product like Dishwasher Safe Mod Podge, it does have quite a long cure time, but it is worth it, guys. This is an incredible product. Then you will love the outcome of your mugs. They will be dishwasher safe. You can put them, in the dishwasher, no problem. So that's really fun to know. And that was a question we got so often. I think it's because mugs are just so popular. We just love mugs, and it's a great thing to personalize. It's a great thing to use. Some people use mugs every day. If you're a coffee drinker, tea drinker, use them every day, and you want to be able to dishwash them if it's more, convenient for you. So that is what we did here, is we put some dishwasher safe Mod Podge on here and placed it in the dishwasher. So I hope that helped answer your question about dishwashing and mugs. That is an amazing product that you guys can use to make any mug dishwasher safe. And another question about mugs. Can I put a mug with vinyl on it in the microwave? Again, the answer is no, unless you seal it with something. Again, we will recommend Dishwasher Safe Mod Podge. If you do seal it, you can put it in the microwave, as well as a dishwasher, of course, but not for like 10 minutes. Like, don't go making like a brownie in a mug and accidentally leaving it in there for 10 minutes. But if you're heating up a cup of coffee, or if you're reheating something, or anything like that, you're gonna be fine. Trying to make some cocoa, you're good to go with that. You can put that in the microwave if it's sealed. And number 5, I love this question. Why should I weed on the mat? So I think a lot of people, this may be a Cricut newbie question. I assume it is, because if you ever try weeding on the mat, you'll know exactly why you have to weed on the mat. The mat is your third hand, and when you're crafting, that's all that you wish for, is to have a third hand. So what you'll be able to do is not have to worry about where that material is going, if it's slipping up on you, holding it down or anything. The mat does that for you. So as the mat is holding your material down, you can have one hand to just kind of make sure everything is going well, push down anything that needs to be pushed down, and the other hand with the weeding tool and pulling up the vinyl. I mean, you really have to appreciate the beauty of weeding on the mat. If you haven't tried it, you are missing out. Now, some people haven't ever weeded on the mat. Some people don't like weeding on the mat. They think it hurts the mat. They think it's gonna mess the mat up. It doesn't, because we've been doing it forever, and we would know. And it's incredible. We love weeding on the mat. If you haven't, do it. It's a third hand. It's a miracle. All you do is pull it out of your Cricut, cut off your excess, and get to weeding. You don't have to pull it up off the mat or do anything crazy. It is perfect. We love weeding on the mat. It's awesome. Number 6, this is a really common question. Why is there a black box around my printed images before I print and cut? So here is an example of exactly what this question is talking about. These are some stickers from our sticker collection from Makers Gonna Learn, and I've just printed them out here. And as you can see, there is this black box around it. These are called registration marks. So these registration marks are there for the Cricut to basically do its job well. So if you just printed this out without the registration marks and put it in your Cricut on the mat, your Cricut wouldn't really know where exactly to cut. It could guess, but it probably wouldn't really know where to cut. So these registration marks allow the Cricut, there's a little light and a little scanner in there in the Cricut, and if you load this in and watch before it starts cutting, you'll see it. It'll kind of drag around the exterior of this registration box here and see the lines, and that is what gives it the exact precise measurement on where exactly to cut. So these are very necessary. Sometimes it can be tricky because if you guys are using water slide decals or anything and you're trying to make those and you're using the print and cut method with some water slide paper, then you guys know you have to seal those with quite a few coats of polyurethane spray. If you use the gloss spray, sometimes that tricks your Cricut and it can't quite make out the registration marks if it's too glossy. And then on the other hand, if your printer does not print it correctly and it's kind of, you know, smudged on one side or not even there on one side, it might not register at all on the Cricut and you might have to reprint it and, you know, kind of redo that. So that is just something to keep in mind. But registration marks are your friend. They are the reason the Cricut is so good at print and cut, and we love them. So that is what those are. Question number 7 is, can I use Cricut / Design Space with my Android products? And the answer is yes, you can. We are not going to say a lot about that matter because Makers Gonna Learn is and probably will always be an Apple company. We love you know, our Macs and our iPads and our iPhones. That is just what we have always used, and none of us, even like in Canada, and we have some amazing workers in the Philippines, all of our employees really use Apple, and we love Apple. So it's not that we're dissing Android or anything like that. We just don't know how exactly to use it. We are trying to find someone to, you know the in and outs of that, to be able to give us some some tutorials and things that we can help our members and our viewers with, to help them with their Android products and using Design Space. But we have come up short with that as well. But you can use them. We just don't have any resources to teach you how, because we are an Apple company. But that's, again, not saying anything negative about Android. I know it works. I know some of the Design Space applications work better than others on Android, but I do know that it does work. So that's your answer there. Okay, number 8, and guys, this one's high on the list. We get asked this on a weekly basis, and that is, can I use a household iron with HTV with iron on? The answer is kinda. And I know you might be like, what? But let me explain. So when you're using HTV with a household iron, the iron, there's no temperature gauge, so you can't really gauge what temperature it is precisely. It also, most of them have steam, which means you have steam holes on your iron, and that does cause a little bit of uneven heat right there. And then the whole iron has uneven heat. It does not have a heat plate that has even distributed heat like the Easy Press does, or a heat press or something like it. It does not have a temperature setting to get a super precise temperature, and it's really, really hard to get a good even cover of heat on there, because you really don't know what areas of the iron are super hot and can work well with your HTV. So can it work? It will work. So your HTV will be adhered to your shirt, but it's not going to last very long. In all of the testing we have done, in people that we have heard, it falls off, it peels off, it kind of, it starts bunching up a lot sooner than if you would use an Easy Press or a heat press with a large heat plate that you can adjust the heat to, that has good even heat that you can really apply pressure to. It's all about heat with HTV. So what it is, it's a layer of the vinyl, and then it is it's got heat transfer adhesive on it. That's just what it is. So when heat is applied to it for a certain amount of time at a certain temperature, it melts and bonds to that fabric. That is just how HTV works. Well, if this area up here gets bonded super well, but this area down here didn't get bonded well, but it's still kind of sticking, then it will look fine, you know, but then after you wash it once or twice, it could start peeling up on one side or not looking so good. And that's just because a household iron is not meant to produce an incredible, you know, outcome in HTV projects. That's just not what it does. So if you have to use it, that's fine, but it's not going to be as successful as if you use an easy press. Even the mini, we love the mini easy press. It's only $50. I'll link it below. I love the mini easy press, but I wanted to show you the heat plate on this one to just kind of give you a visualization of this even heat press with its even heat distributing, and then you can really give that good pressure and have a really beautiful outcome on your project, which is super important. So really, you kind of can't use an iron for HTV projects if you want your project to last. It will work, but it's not going to last a long time. Now, that's also not saying that there's not some people out there that have had success with it. I'm sure there are some people that have had success using a household iron with their HTV, but us at Makers Gonna Learn and some sources that we have asked say that it did not last very long. Number 9 is, should I heat set my adhesive vinyl? Now, guys, I don't know who made a post about this or why this is popular or how it became popular or why we're getting questions on it. You can 100%, 1000% not heat set your adhesive vinyl. It is not meant to be heat set. It is adhesive vinyl for a reason. And then heat transfer vinyl is heat transfer vinyl for a reason. Now, I will say we do have a video on how to remove vinyl from a project, and you do use a heat gun or a hair dryer to basically melt that adhesive, and that way you can peel it off a little bit easier if it's giving you some trouble. But that's when you want to remove it from a project. You should never heat set your adhesive vinyl. It does not do anything to the adhesive besides melt it and make it weird, and then it could discolor your vinyl entirely. So we do not recommend that at all. But we understand there has to be something out there that says you can, otherwise people wouldn't be asking about it. So that is a good question. Number 10 is, why does my Cricut not cut my print and cut projects properly? This is a great question. I know I had a lot of P's in there. I'm sorry. Print and cut properly. But anyways, this is a great question that we do get often, and I will use this as a reference again. So this is exactly how it would look. You would load it into your Cricut, and with the registration marks, the Cricut will sense and know exactly where to cut. Sometimes your Cricut can cut a bit off, and you can have like a lot of extra white excess around here while it's super close to the little cactus guy around here, something like that. So if your Cricut seems to be cutting off center from your your print and cut little projects that you're cutting out, there is a solution for that. There is an answer to your problem. Your Cricut is not broken. It's actually something super common, and what it is you need to calibrate your Cricut machine. So again, this is a super common thing that happens over time. We do it here in the studio probably like once a month. We recalibrate our Cricuts, and Becca actually has an incredible video all about recalibrating your machines. She recalibrates the Cricut Maker and the Explore Air 2, so I will link that in the description below for you guys to learn how to do. It's a really simple process, but really it kind of realigns your Cricut and realigns that sensor and makes sure that it will print and cut properly, which is key in these projects. You don't want to waste material. You don't want to waste your ink from your printer. You want successful projects. So recalibrating your machine is a great way to achieve that. Number 11 is, can I use the Cricut adaptive tools for my maker in my Explore Air 2? Now that means adaptive tools are like the knife blade, the rotary blade, the embossing tool, the scoring wheel, things like that. And the answer is no. So all of those adaptive tools work only with the Cricut Maker. It has a clamp A and a clamp B, much like the Cricut Explore Air 2 does. However, while the Explore Air 2's clamps look basically identical when you take out the pin adapter, whenever you are looking at your maker, they are much different. The clamp B is just for all of your tools, all of your blades and things like that. So Keep that in mind next time you think that they're interchangeable. The only blades that are interchangeable for these machines is the fabric bonded blade, the fine point blade, and the deep cut blade. That is the only blades that you can interchange between machines. The Cricut Maker is in like a league of its own as far as capability, where it can cut all of those amazing things. So we have all of our awesome blades in here. This is an awesome storage box. Even the top has storage. I love this storage caddy. I will link it below. We got it at Hobby Lobby. It is incredible. So we have all of our knife blades, all of our fine point, all of our specialty blades here, all of our rotary blades, and our little quick swap housing blades, rotary blades. I mean, guys, we got it going on here. I absolutely love to stay organized, and that little caddy is a dream. Number 12, moving right along, can I use any printer for print and cut? This is actually a great question, especially with new Cricut owners that maybe have a printer. They want to know if their printer is able to work with Cricut Print and Cut. And the answer is mostly. The only really thing you're limited on is laser versus inkjet. So you cannot use laser printers with Cricut Print and Cut. You can only use inkjet, which does happen to be the most popular type of printer. So odds are, if you have a printer at home, it's an inkjet, which is really great. So yeah, really any printer will do. We absolutely love our Canons. I will link it down below. They recently upped the model and made a new model because this guy is the Canon TS8120, and we love him. He was less than $100. His ink is very affordable, and he prints and cuts like a boss. So they remade this model and just kind of tweaked a couple of things that we love, and now it's the Canon TS9120. So it's really not much different, a little bit more expensive, but still a great printer. I will link that below. But any inkjet printer will work with Cricut Print and Cut. Number 13 is, why won't Cricut fill in my fonts? We get this question so often, and I know you're sick of me saying that because we do get all these questions so often, but it's true. We'll switch over to the second camera and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here are two different types of pens that we have used here, and this font is one of our fonts from Maker's Gonna Learn here, and it's not filled in. This is just how the Cricut colored this. And a lot of people say, why can't Cricut fill these in? What is happening? So Cricut cannot fill in third-party fonts. Now, that means any font that Cricut does not own cannot be filled in. So any font you get from dafont.com or any of the other font sites, or even Maker's Gonna Learn, cannot be filled in. Now, you can easily fill these in yourself by hand with your marker, or you can choose a very thin font that kind of looks natural unfilled in. I think that this is a cool look, but I understand why people are so confused about it. But Cricut does not have the capability to fill in third-party fonts. It just doesn't have that capability. Number 14, why won't my materials cut well? So this question could be answered in several different ways. The most common answer to the question is you're not using the correct pressure with your machine. Now, there are different pressure settings in Design Space. Once you choose your material, it will pop down and then you will barely be able to see it, but there's going to be a toggle switch that says pressure. You can, or not a toggle switch, but like a drop down menu, and you can select more pressure or less pressure. It is always set to just standard pressure and default pressure, that's the technical term. But depending on how new or old your blades are, you need to adjust their pressure in order to cut your material properly. So you can adjust that pressure setting. That is the most common answer to the question. Also, the other answer is you might need to replace your blade altogether. If more pressure isn't working for you, I would go ahead and just replace your blade and start using less pressure, since that is a fresh blade. Now, since this is kind of like a topic all its own, the pressures and how to change your pressure and when to know how you should change your pressure, and maybe when to throw out your Cricut blade and get you a new one. I will link those videos down below for you. The one all about pressure, how to change it, where it's at in Design Space, how you should know the cues for changing it, and then how to know when to change your blade. I'll link those down below. I hope you all do enjoy those videos. Okay, so that is the answer to those. I hope that did answer your question. Easy fix. We love using pressure here. We use it all the time. You can really get extra life out of those blades if you use more pressure on an older blade. It will cut a little bit deeper and then be able to give you a couple extra weeks out of that dull blade. Number 15, which device is best for using Design Space? Of course, we love Apple here, so that's the products that we are going to be comparing today. So we have laptops, desktops, iPads, and phones here, iPhones. So all of these work, and all of these work well. I think that the desktop and laptop, of course, those are super similar, so we'll just throw that into one category. Between the laptop and iPad, I prefer to use my laptop. Now, I'll tell you why. It's probably just because I've been using it most lately. There was a season where I was solely using the iPad. The only thing I didn't adore about the iPad is that when you're trying to get super intricate with like kerning your cursive text and things, your fingers kind of covering what you're trying to look at, if that makes sense. That's honestly the only downside I can think of to using the iPad. It's small, it doesn't take up any room. The Cricut Maker has this awesome dock for it, this great little area to place it, so that's great. It kind of clears up your work surface, and I do love that. So it's total personal preference, regardless if you love your laptop or your iPad or your phone or your desktop. Really, it doesn't matter. As long as you are getting a good experience, it does not matter what device you use. We could say, oh, well, you only should use your, Mac 13-inch laptop. That's just kind of too specific, too personal preference-y, and that's kind of what this question is. I know you guys are probably asking just for some advice, but really it's whatever you find works for you, whatever you enjoy working more. You might like the hands-on of the iPad and the portability of it if you travel a lot, or you might just like to use the laptop because you kind of can just really get it precise and make it your own. So really it's just personal preference with that, but we love all the devices. Number 16, which vinyl is best to use for a car decal? Now, I'm probably going to part the waters, have some lovers, have some haters, and really dive into this controversial answer here. And here it is, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that there are several different types of vinyl, and in my opinion, in Makers Gonna Learn's opinion, there is practically no difference between them. Right here we have permanent vinyl here from Cricut. This is regular vinyl here. This is 651 vinyl, Oracal 651. As I'm knocking stuff over, there's premium permanent, there's premium outdoor vinyl. Guys, they're all adhesive vinyls, and they all basically have the same type of adhesive on them. We have personally noticed no difference between the types of vinyl you use for car decals or even for mugs that you'll hand wash and things like that. They all work the same. Some brands are just trying to take your money, guys, and we want to save you guys from that, okay? We have used a ton of these on a bunch of different things, and they all will peel up the same. They'll all last the same. They're all the same. Now, some people are going to come and comment and be like, no, they're not. This has this much in it. I'm not saying they're completely 100% compound the same thing. I'm just saying in order to, place it on a mug or put it on your car to just, have a little cute quote or your monogram on your car, a picture of your dog or something, it's really not going to matter what type you choose. They'll all last the same time. You'll all still have to probably take them off yourself. You'll probably sell your car and get a new one before you have to take these off anyways, or before they'll start peeling off. I mean, really, all vinyls are created equal if you get a good brand, okay? I'm not, much like, me trying to expound on that, you can't go to Dollar Tree and get vinyl from there and expect it to work the same as Oracal 651. But if you get a good reputable brand like Cricut or Oracal, it's going to work the same. You don't have to get premium outdoor or permanent vinyl. It's all gonna work the same. So I know I'm blowing some minds here, but I hope I'm saving you guys some money and some time and some frustration, because also with the premium outdoor and some of the permanent vinyls that I've seen with some brands, the colors are really limited, which is kind of weird. So guys, just go and get some Oracal 651. They have a billion colors. You guys can choose all that you want and make you some amazing car decals or stuff to put on your mugs to hand wash and things. Vinyl is a lot more sturdy than people give it credit for. And that is a great segue to number 17, which is where is the best place to order vinyl and iron-on. So I just want to be clear too, HTV and iron-on are the same thing. HTV is the broad heat transfer vinyl, and iron-on is Cricut's brand of HTV. It's called iron-on. So they're the same thing. Our favorite place to get both heat transfer vinyl and adhesive vinyl is 651vinyl.com. I have some prices wrote down for you that it's just going to blow your all's mind. They're incredible. So 651 Vinyl is based out of Kentucky. They're a great company. Their shipping, first of all, it'll be at your house in like 2 days, guys. I don't know how they get it to you so fast. And sometimes there's little candy in there. I just love it. They're great. But not only are like the customer service team and all of the staff great, but the product is incredible. You can't beat it. The vinyl is heavy duty. It is really up to standards. It cuts well. It weeds incredibly, and it's great quality. Now, on the flip side, for heat transfer vinyl, they have Caesar Easy Weed, and that is 100% what we recommend. But yeah, it's a good product. Yeah, the people are nice. Let me tell you, the biggest reason why we love them is because they sell in bulk. And when I say bulk, I mean bulk, like 30 feet, guys. This right here is one of the bulk rolls. This is white vinyl here, and it's incredible. Let me tell you some prices. I'm gonna look down. I'm sorry, guys. For regular vinyl, for 12 inches by 5 feet, it's only $2.95. Guys, come on now. Now I'm gonna blow your mind. You guys are going to pass out. So whenever you pass out, just let me know whenever you come back to life, and then I'll tell you what's going on. This vinyl for 10 yards. Now, guys, 10 yards, there's 3 feet in a yard. That's 30 feet. 30 feet, okay? You get 30 feet of this for $16.89. Did you pass out? Oh, yeah, you did. Okay. Come back up. Yes, that's all you pay. It's an incredible price. Now for Caesar Easy Weed, which is HTV, it's iron-on. Again, it is more expensive because it comes with that backing already on it. So do think about that. But it is 5 yards, which is 15 feet. For $34.50. So that's 15 feet, and that's a really good price, guys. You'll pay that for one roll of a competitor, or not competitor, but like another brand, you know what I'm talking about. And for 12 inches by 5 feet, it's $13.99. So why not get 15 feet and just, you know, it's a no-brainer. I absolutely love it. Their products are great. They have super fast shipping, and one of my favorite things as well, I should have brought them in here, is these little keychains they have with like little sample colors, little chips of all of their colors of all their products. Guys, they're amazing. If you want to make a specific project and you have a color and you want more of it or something like that, all you have to do is match it up with this little paint chip, and you're like, flip it over. Oh, it's ocean blue. There we go. And you can like order all that you want. It's great. We love that. Okay, number 18. Are off-brand products good or bad? And I have the examples here of replacement blades and transfer tape and mats and weeding tools and vinyls. So we did cover the vinyls, off-brand. And when I say off-brand, I mean not Cricut brand. That's all that I mean. I don't mean that they're like cheap quality or anything like that. Vinyl, yes, 100% worth it. Scraper tools and stuff are great. We have some Harbor Freight tools, which are awesome. Masking paper transfer tape is the bomb. And we also, this one's kind of controversial, guys. We have some Cricut replacement blades from Amazon. Now, we've used them. They're not our favorite, but they work. I'm going to try and find them, and I'm going to link all of this down below for you guys. And then another like off-brand product is non-Cricut pens. So Cricut pens are super expensive, and this example that I showed you guys here, this little, you know, this not filled in font was actually made with Dollar Tree markers. So this top one here are these dollar markers from the Dollar Tree, and that bottom one is this red one out of here, out of this dollar pack of markers. So you can see how well even Dollar Tree products do in the Cricut, which is amazing. So are they bad? No, they're great. We love using some off-brand or different branded products for our Cricuting. It really saves us time, saves us money, and makes us better crafters. And number 19, we actually get to jump on over to Design Space for this one. It is, why are my cursive words cutting out separately even though they're together in Design Space? So it's a little bit hard to understand when you're just kind of reading it, but I'll show you what I'm talking about over in Design Space. There's such an easy fix to it, and we get this question all the time. Okay, guys, this is a great example of what everyone is talking about. So here's some cursive text here, and I know what you guys are going to do. I know what the problem is for you guys is that you take it here and you attach it, or you don't attach it. You could, let's just say, group it. So we're going to group these together, and then so these are grouped and these are attached, and now we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and click make it. This is not cute. This is not what we want. So this right here is what frustrates people so much, and there's a super easy fix to this. So let's go ahead and click cancel. And the trick is welding. You have to weld your cursive fonts. They're not going to be there how you want them to be. They might cut out where you want them to be, but then they'll cut out like separate letters. So what you have to do here is weld it. You have to weld all of this together. Make sure it's exactly where you want it, and then you must weld it. So what a lot of people do, because another thing you guys need to know is that you cannot unweld. Once you've welded something, you can't unweld it after you do a couple more things in Design Space. So you can take this here and then duplicate it and then hide it. That way, if you save this project, which, go ahead and save it, then you have one hid in the layers panel just in case you need to change something later. So you can take that and hide it. And then you're going to take this one and weld it all. So we're going to go down to the bottom here and click weld. Now, guys, when you go and you click make it, looky here, it's all there. Now the only reason it's sideways is because I made it gigantic. So look, I'm going to make it smaller and then show you guys how to do that, or show you guys what that looks like, excuse me. So if I click make it, now you can see it says hello there. It's exactly how it's supposed to look. It's perfect. So you have to weld these cursive fonts. Even if you attach them, it's just like a paper clip. It's just gonna hold them together. And grouping is only good for grouping things together on the actual canvas in Design Space here. But welding is the only true way to make sure that this will all cut out as one, like one singular word, which is exactly what we want. Okay guys, number 20, the last question is, what is the difference between HTV, which is heat transfer vinyl or iron-on, and adhesive vinyl? So what's the difference between HTV and vinyl? So the biggest difference is one gets adhered with heat and one is already just sticky. It's just sticky backed. So with heat transfer vinyl, you'll need a heat source like an easy press in order to set that onto a shirt, or a piece of cloth, or any fabric or felt, or even wood and things like that. And adhesive vinyl, you don't really have to heat set it or anything like that. It's like a sticker. It's just sticky backed, which is great. So also there are some differences between the two other than just that. So adhesive vinyl like this, you would need transfer tape with it, much like that. Whereas with heat transfer vinyl or iron-on, it already comes with that transfer sheet with it. So it's like already there, which is awesome. So because of that, that is why you'll pay a little bit more for it, because that transfer sheet comes built in on that heat transfer vinyl. That's also why you'll have to place your vinyl shiny side down on your mat and mirror the HTV. So that's a little trick there. But guys, that's it. 20 of the most Cricut questions that we have gotten, the most asked Cricut questions that we answered for you in this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you have any more questions for us. Give this video a thumbs up, and do not forget to click the very first link in the description below to get access to Makers Gonna Learn, your ultimate die cutting community, because it's amazing and we want you part of this family. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.